When do you exit your crypto position? Ideally, right, the right answer is to never. It's a trick question. You never want to sell your position. The world's smartest investors, what they tend to do is they don't ever sell their positions. They actually take loans against their assets, and then they use the borrowed money, which is also non-taxable, to invest in other things and to fund their lifestyle. If you play it smart and you find the right companies that offer these services, you can find a way to essentially never liquidate your cryptocurrency positions, never have to sell off your cryptocurrency, and still leverage the benefits of the gains that you've made over the course of time. What is going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. Coming back to you with a video today, talking a little bit about liquid loans. This is going to be a video touching up on more or less Pulse Chain. Really, this information won't, or really this protocol won't be available until the launch of Pulse Chain. So because of that, right, essentially what we're going to be seeing is this project launching hopefully, sometime within the year or next year, right? That's what we're waiting on. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll open up the website, because what I want to do is kind of like a live review with you guys. I already read over the document myself in order to kind of get this information a little bit more clear and to be able to share this information with you. So with that being said, let's go ahead to liquidloans.io. For those of you who want to join the Telegram, before I talk to you a little bit about that, you guys can join the Liquid Loans Telegram right here by joining t.me/liquidloans.io, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, liquid loans, sorry. So t.me/liquid loans. There's about 2,800 people, 2,916 people on this actual chat, and they're constantly sending information, talking about it. And I joined it in order to learn a little bit more about the protocol, what it is, and how it works. And so without further ado, let's get right into it. First and foremost, this is going to be a kind of a subject relating to what you do with crypto, right? When do you exit your crypto position? Ideally, right, the right answer is to never. It's a trick question. You never want to sell your position. The world's smartest investors, what they tend to do is they don't ever sell their positions. They actually take loans against their assets, and then they use the borrowed money, which is also non-taxable, to invest in other things and to fund their lifestyle. If you play it smart and you find the right companies that offer these services, you can find a way to essentially never liquidate your cryptocurrency positions, never have to sell off your cryptocurrency, and still leverage the benefits of the gains that you've made over the course of time. Ideally, Liquid Loans is here to help with that. Built on the Pulse Chain side of the crypto space, we're going to see this really be geared towards PLS holders. So, if you're a Pulse Chain holder, if you're going to be someone who's purchasing Pulse Chain, this is perfect for you, because ideally, if you invested in the starting stages of PLS, you're gonna probably get you probably got a good price. If you're gonna buy in the early days when it launches, you're definitely gonna get a good price. And from then there on, as price goes up, you're gonna want to eventually liquidate some of those positions, or turn them into loans, which is what this is all about. So as you can see here, the website says 0% interest-free DeFi liquidity for everyone, pretty much. And so the smart contract itself is exclusively on Pulse Chain, like we were saying. It is immutable, non-custodial, no admin keys, and governance free. So this is pretty much a free working protocol that is built to serve the purpose of collateralizing your loan, your assets, and giving you a loan in return. So the interesting part about this is that it's 110% collateral ratio, very, very low in comparison to a lot of other places, like for example BlockFi or Celsius, which over collateralize, and oftentimes you require double, nearly triple of your loan amount to be able to collateralize it on your account. Not really efficient. In here, instead of doing like a big percentage or whatever it may be for your collateral, you're going to be doing a smaller percentage, and it's only at a one-time fee. Right, this is where they talk about the 0% interest rate. So it's a one-time fee to borrow USDL when you initially create that loan. And then, of course, they've created a USDL stablecoin, which is going to be pegged to the US dollar, and it's going to maintain the algorithmic monetary policy of this specific protocol. So I think it's pretty cool, the idea of it. What I want to do is I want to open up a document to see how this works. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, you click on here and it opens up the document. And so we'll go ahead and we'll read this through with you guys and talk a little bit about it. So first and foremost, like we were talking about, 0% interest, $1 USDL is equal to 1 USD, and 110% collateral ratio. These are like the biggest kind of key factors about liquid loans that everybody would like to really take advantage of. As we kind of go through this document, we'll talk a little bit more about the importance of this and why people would probably want to do this over other, options like BlockFi, Celsius example. And yeah, so start off with the introduction. So what is liquid loans? So it says here, liquid loans is a true decentralized borrowing protocol that allows Pulse Chain token PLS holders to obtain maximum liquidity against their collateral without selling and without paying interest. So here it says there's no admin keys, immutable, and non-custodial. What does this mean? Pretty much means after locking up the PLS as collateral in a smart contract and creating an individual position called a vault, the user can get instant liquidity by minting USDL, a USD pegged stablecoin. Each vault is required to be collateralized at a minimum of 110%. So in other words, you can't drop below 110% of the value that you've taken a loan against. So if you have, let's say for example, a loan of $10,000 on a, let's say for example, let's say $15,000 loan, you can't drop below a certain threshold, which is probably going to be like around $11,000 or $12,000 in value, because if not, they will have to liquidate some of those positions in order to meet the collateral, right? The redemption mechanism, along with algorithmically adjusted fees, guarantees a minimum stablecoin value of $1. So USDL is going to play a major role in this. A liquidation mechanism based on incentivized stability deposits and redistribution cycle from riskier to safer vaults provides stability at a much lower collateral ratio than current systems. And so pretty much this is them focusing on their system that's allowing for 110% collateral rates. And we'll go over that a little bit in the future. But overall, I mean, the big gist of this is the fact that everybody wants to ideally take loans against their crypto, right? A smart investor would want to do that. This is going to open the floor a lot for Pulse Chain. We don't really tend to rely on the work of others here, but I will say that if someone is working on this project and it does work, there's going to be a very, very good thing for PLS, and it's going to definitely increase the value of PLS as a whole, and definitely of liquid loans if they can pull this off. And so, yeah, really exciting about this. So here's some key benefits. We have interest-free liquidity, low collateral ratio of 110%, hard price floor, governance fee, algorithmic monetary policy, censorship resistance, and growth incentives. So we can go over each and every single one of them. We've already talked a little bit about interest-free liquidity. We've talked about low collateral ratios. Let's talk a little bit about hard price floor. So liquid loans follows a maximally expansive monetary policy by providing free liquidity at zero issuance cost by default. On the other hand, the issued USDL tokens are fully redeemable against the collateral. This enables the protocol to grow rapidly, but not as fast as to lose control over the peg. So the peg to the dollar, essentially. USDL tokens can be returned to the protocol redeemed in exchange for a PLS amount worth of the face value of the returned USDL, minus a redemption fee. The direct price stability mechanisms result in a price floor of about $1. At lower rates, arbitrageurs can make profits by redeeming USDL for PLS. Now, for those of you who don't know how stablecoins work, they have a rebasing system. So you know how Bitcoin is a stable or a fixed price amount or a fixed supply amount. And then you may have things like, for example, Ethereum, which is constantly creating more coin, right? The algorithm for a stable coin is actually a little bit different, because what it does is more than likely every single day it rebases based on the amount of, based on the value of the peg of the USDL value, right? And how close it is to the next to the $1 value. So in this case, you can get an example here, like how they provide. Let me see if I can find it. Somewhere in here. So let me see. I remember I found it. Could be one of these. No, let me just find that for you, because that was a great example, the way that they explained it. Boom, 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 boom. Let me see if I can find that. It's not there. It's not there. Okay, I think it's here. Yeah, so this is pretty much an example of the system functionality. So let's say, for example, so USDL currently trades at 95 cents and the current base rate is 1.4%. An arbitrager redeems 150,000 USDL, which is a total USDL supply is 10 million, so that's good to know. The last redemption happened 2 hours ago and no liquidity has been issued in the meantime. The hourly decay factor is 0.94. So a whole bunch of math here that I don't understand happens, right? It then increases the base rate in proportion to the fraction of the total supply redeemed. So it's like how we were talking about, right? Based on the total supply that's available or the supply that's been redeemed, it kind of creates a new supply that then changes the value of your current USDL because it tries to keep it as close as possible to that $1 peg. Now, it doesn't mean that you automatically get a free and instant value, but what happens is usually arbitragers who see price, let's say for example, of something that's supposed to be worth $1 go down to 95 cents, they'll buy it up and then sell it when it gets back to $1. And so here you'll see the result. So as a result, the redeemed receives $147,000, right, having put in 150,000 USDL, a bunch of math worth of PLS, right? Since the exchange USDL is currently worth only 142,000, the redeemer achieves an arbitrage gain of $4,519.44. So you're essentially getting the difference once you sell that PLS that you gain for offering your collateral. And it's a pretty cool idea. You know, this happens all the time with USDC. It's something that we know that works. Overall, the system is functional. Already, it's just a matter of that they're applying it a little bit differently, and they're changing up the mechanism that creates the collateralization. That changes the collateralization of your tokens, which is great. So over here, you know, what we talk about on this side of the page is, you know, let's say for example, when Alice redeems her USDL token, USDL is redeemed against the riskiest vault. So every time you create a loan, you're creating a vault, right? You're putting in PLS, you're getting out USDL, retaining the surplus collateral for its owner. If more PLS is needed, it proceeds with the next one. So if you go to that rate of, let's say, below 110%, you're going to start to get collateralized. And it's going to go towards the risky, it's going to pull it from the riskiest vault. So the one that's closest to that collateralized percentage, which is 110%. We'll talk a little bit more about those percents in a couple minutes. Holders can deposit USDL to the stability pool, which also gains a pool for collateral. When a vault becomes uncollateralized, USDL in the pool is burned to offset the debt, and its collateral is sent to the collateral pool, so such that vault gets liquidated. So ideally, same concept. You're liquidating your PLS in order to suffice the fact that you are, taking out a USDL loan, which is supposed to be 1-to-1, not including any of the arbitrage information we spoke about. But like, for example, here you have Vault A, Vault B, Vault C, Vault D, total of 20,000 USDL in debt. So that's what your loan is, right? Collateralized PLS, you put 300K here, 800K PLS here, 1.3 million PLS here. Let's say here it is 8,000. So let's say, for example, right, you put 8,000, you took an $8,000 loan on 864K PLS, right? Let's say, look at this example here. C Vault has 6,000, but it was 1.3 million PLS. This one has a USDL a value of 8,000, but it was 864K. So your collateralized rate is going to be 108% in comparison to this one, which is 233%. So because that collateral is getting too close to that 110% mark, it's going to start selling off some of that PLS in order to suffice that USDL loan and get that rate back into proportion. And, of course, if you monitor this and you pay it off beforehand, for example, you will avoid that liquidation. But, this is something key to keep in mind. Ideally, you'd want to have this loan that you take out as far away from 110% as possible. So ideally, create a vault. Don't take out as much as it's worth. Maybe take out half of its worth. And like that, you'll have a higher collateralized rate percentage, and you'll stay away from that 110%. Liquidation rate as possible. Well, as far of it as possible. Sorry, and and so, I mean, it makes sense. It looks really cool. The protocol flowchart is kind of like a way of showing how the flowchart works. let's kind of read into this a little bit. The changes incentivizes stability providers to increase their deposits during recovery mode, which in turn improves the total collateral ratio of the system. The existence of recovery mode alone helps to avert system failing below the collateral threshold. The third of the extra liquidations incentivizes risky borrowers to improve their collateral ratios and stability providers to increase their deposits long after the system actually reaches a threshold ratio of 150%. On the other hand, risk-averse borrowers are recommended to maintain a collateral ratio above 150% at all times. So remember, the less risky you are with the loan you're taking based on how much PLS you're putting in, the better. And, if you're very risky or a risk-averse, loaner, then, of course, you're going to be kind of having to deal with this BS. But it's just all about how you take that loan out and what your PLS is worth at the time. So very important. Restrictions on vault operations. All vault operations that would deteriorate the TCR are temporarily disabled if the system is in recovery mode or if the operation would trigger recovery mode by pushing the TCR below 150%. In recovery mode, it is only possible to top up collateral, repay debt, top up collateral, and repay debt in the same transaction, top up collateral and increase debt in a way that pushes the vault's collateral ratio above 150%. So it's kind of like a warning mode telling you, hey, you're getting too close to that 110%, and it doesn't allow you to take out more debt, but in turn only to repay and top up. Furthermore, new vaults can only be opened during recovery mode if their collateral ratio is 150%. This prevents users from inadvertently creating vaults that may immediately fall victim to liquidation. So really cool stuff. I like the stuff that they're talking about. Kind of like preemptive measures to make sure people aren't just losing money on fee, or really not fees, but being collateralized, right? And getting the maximum value of this, right? This is pretty cool, guys. Another conversation though, right, that we can have is, what do you then do with the USDL that you're given? And a lot of people, right, are seeing this as an opportunity to put money into other assets. And so, you can buy Hex with it, for example, then stake Hex. So there will probably be a pool in some type of Uniswap version or a pancake swap version of a swap mechanism for PLS that's going to allow you to trade USDL for Hex, or USDL for PLS, or USDL for whatever else. Ideally, this is really, really good for people who want to use their gains and then reinvest those gains while still having open loans. There isn't anything wrong as long as those loans are collateralized and they're not below that 110% ratio. They're going to be good. They're going to be profitable. And they're going to be able to use that money for whatever they want without having to lose the PLS that they're putting into these contracts. And so, liquid loans looks like a great idea. I think it's something that can really work for the system and for the users of PLS and, Hex and whatnot. And, it's really exciting to see projects like this coming up. And so I hope this video helps you guys understand a little bit more about how PLS is really becoming a strong protocol in the cryptocurrency space, why we believe in it so much. And, we really do want to appreciate all of the creators of things like liquid loans, because they are creating the infrastructure for what PLS is going to be. And so shout out to the guys at Liquid Loans. I would definitely love to be able to get in touch with them. If we can get some type of interview with them, I think we're going to go ahead and set that up for the channel. But until then, this is just a quick intro to Liquid Loans, talking a little bit about it, giving you guys some direct information from what we can see here on the website. And yeah, guys, this is really, really cool stuff. So I hope you guys are having a phenomenal week. Take care. See you in the next one.